Hello and welcome to this episode of Demystified as we explore home cooking in a modern world. Hello, I'm Linda and I'm here with my friend Paul. Hi Paul.
Hello, Linda. It's
How
Friday.
are you?
Friday, fun one.
Is it a fun one?
Well,
It is a Friday.
It's some sort of bizarre end of world thing happening in Melbourne, but you know.
We've opened up and I must say I hate that phrase Freedom Day.
We've opened up to like gale force winds and trampolines flying in the sky and stuff.
Exactly. There were. There were.
Yeah.
It's all been a bit bizarre, but here we are, end of the week.
End of the week.
How's your week been?
Not too bad. Not too bad. I did some cooking yesterday, finally. I did a little bit of research.
Oh, and what was the answer about the bicarb and baking powder?
So, baking powder is bicarb soda with a dry acid added to it, like cream of tartar.
Okay.
So, you know how we were talking about chewy biscuits?
Yes.
And we were talking about diluting the bicarb,
Yeah.
and then you add it to
Yep.
the butter and it foams.
Yep.
Okay, that automatically happens with bicarb soda. With baking powder, if you don't have, so it's the acid in the butter basically
Okay.
that actually activates it.
Oh, okay.
Baking powder has already got that acidic part built into it. So I was kind of on the right track that there is a chemical difference between the two of them. But yes, baking powder is bicarb soda with cream of tartar in it.
Okay. So if you're going to substitute one for the other, you have to be very careful, I guess.
Yeah, I have no idea about quantities.
Yeah.
None at all.
Okay.
But yes.
Oh, well, there you are. Thank you for that.
Full of useless information.
Well, that's not so useless. Not really.
But no, did some cooking yesterday. I went to, because we're across the road from
Good old Preston
Market.
Yes.
So I went and had a wander around there's a really good Asian grocer over in the other car park. So
Yes.
I can't remember
It's
what they're
huge.
called. ABC. I don't know.
Yeah,
But
it's a huge shop.
yeah.
Yeah.
And they've got dedicated aisles for like Korean and Japanese and
Yeah.
stuff with labels that you just...
You have to know what you're looking for or have...
Yeah, I had a vague idea. So I did a little dish yesterday with some sweet potato, which I steamed. And then I basically made a dressing in the bowl that I was serving the sweet potato in. So the dish was revolved around a steamed sweet potato.
Okay.
Just made a dressing in the bowl and then garnished it with a whole heap of like weird Japanese stuff.
Oh,
So you can buy these jars of like...
weird Japanese. It's
You
a
can buy
little
these
bit
jars
vague.
of Japanese... They call them rice seasonings.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so
I've
there's
seen
like
that,
sesame seeds, there's like
Yeah.
dehydrated egg, nori, all
Yeah.
that sort of stuff. So it's like a seasoning mix.
Yeah.
So I got one of them and I just tipped a bit of that over the top. And what else? I think it's togarashi. I'm not sure I'm saying it right. Which is very finely dehydrated. It's like angel hair, but chili.
Oh.
Dried chili.
Oh, now we're talking.
Yeah. Put that on top. But it was all about the dressing and the sweet potato. But just as a... And it literally was... I mean, we've talked before about how long it takes to film a recipe.
Yes.
This was like probably the briefest one. It's less than 5 minutes and it's not even edited yet. So it's going to be like a 3-minute video. But it's super simple and delicious.
Oh, wow. Are you going to put links up to what the little ingredients were?
Yeah, I might do some separate photos, I think.
Photos might be good.
because yeah.
Okay. Well, that's interesting. Because I've seen some of that sort of seasoning go on bread as well, some rolls sometimes. Can you put them on there?
Yeah, I've never seen that.
No, I think.
But there's lots of different sort of types, and there's freeze dried yuzu, and there's all manner of stuff. So I quite like just losing myself in there. I generally, because a lot of the writing on the bottles themselves, it won't tell you what it is. But if you actually look at the ingredients list, quite often that's in English.
Oh yes, okay.
It gives you a pretty fair idea. So I got some really good Japanese soy sauce.
Oh.
Just made a little dressing in the bowl. It was good. Yeah, alas you weren't here.
Oh,
Too bad, so sad.
Story of my life. Well, in complete contrast, I'm doing a very Aussie dinner tonight.
Oh, you're cooking?
Yes, I'm cooking.
Okay.
Because Dougie had, he said, what do you want? And I said last week, spring lamb chops.
Okay, yeah.
Which I coat in a bit of panko with a bit of egg wash, and I put a bit of Dijon mustard in there.
Yeah.
And so we're having a very Aussie type, completely different crumbed, probably not even a steam, probably steaming the veggies, but fry pan and crumbed spring lamb chops.
So tell me about your Dijon mustard. What do you do with it?
Oh, you got that look on your face.
I'm asking.
Oh, no.
I'm genuinely asking.
Okay, I take a little bit, just a little bit, like a half teaspoon of Dijon mustard, and I put it into the egg, and when I'm beating up the egg, I mix it together and make sure it's all mixed in, and then I dip my lamb chops in that.
So you're diluting the Dijon mustard massively. You're not getting any real flavour from it.
Oh, I knew that look.
So, can I make a suggestion?
Well, it's subtle. It's a subtle. You can, and sometimes I even
Just get some Dijon mustard, little pastry brush.
Yeah.
Put some Dijon mustard in a little ramekin.
Yeah.
Just dip the pastry brush in it and brush that over your lamb, your raw lamb.
Yeah.
Then into the flour, then into the egg wash, then into your panko.
I normally don't flour these.
How do you get things to stick?
Panko sticks to.
Incorrect crumbing technique.
Oh, what have I done? Okay.
So the idea behind
chicken
it
and
is
things I do.
Yeah.
If I'm doing chicken, I'll season the flour and do that process. But with these little spring lamb chops, they're so fresh and they're only like this big. And
so what's a bit of flour going to do?
well, I just sort of.
So the flour makes the egg stick, and the egg makes the breadcrumb stick.
Okay.
But you're stepping a fundamental step in crumbing. You're missing a fundamental step in crumbing.
Maybe we should do a tutorial on how to crumb.
Now, I'm pretty sure there's about a gazillion of them online, so you can look up.
Yes, but you only go to one preferred website.
And I'm pretty sure whatever crumb things I've done on that website always involves flouring them first.
It might do, but you know what my memory's like.
But I would suggest to you, you're pretty much like wasting Dijon mustard. You may as well take that little half teaspoon of Dijon mustard that you put in the egg wash. You may as well take that and just put it in the bin, because I don't think it's doing anything for you.
It's a subtle flavour.
It's super subtle, I would suggest. I bet you're not even tasting it.
Well, sometimes if it's a...
So just brush your
I'll try
your
that
lamb
tonight.
chops with the Dijon, season your lamb chops.
Yes.
And then into seasoned flour.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And then into seasoned egg. And then into panko.
So season the flour, the chops, the egg.
Yeah.
And
obviously don't go too hard, but
a bit of seasoning.
Yeah.
And then into the panko.
Correct.
Would you also grate in a little parmesan in the panko?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Oh. But remember, it will...
I was worried about telling you I did that too.
It will cook quicker, like it will colour up.
Yeah.
So you just need to not go so heavy-handed on the heat at the start.
No, I don't. I put them in on a fairly low heat and just get the oil just
Dougie's
going.
fry pan's the one to use here?
And not quite big enough.
Okay.
It's just, and Dougie did buy 2 each, and I looked at him and I thought, mate, you could eat those
7.
4, like, without blinking, because he loves them.
Yeah.
And so
who doesn't love a crumbed lamb cutlet? Seriously.
Well, they are a little bit 1970s, but they are.
Oh, they're the best.
Oh, okay. But they are still...
If they're done properly.
Well, but they are a perennial favourite in our family household. They are yummy.
Yeah.
And sometimes if I want to get fancy, I know you have done a recipe before where you've French, is it the right term? Frenched.
Very good.
The bone.
Yeah.
So they are a little bit, but I don't often do that. I'm just like, nah, it all goes in.
Yeah.
Into my egg. Okay, I'll try that tonight and I'll tell you if we can, how they go.
Yeah.
Cool.
It'll be better.
Well, that's what I was doing tonight. Simple.
Yeah. I don't know what I've got. Oh, flounder.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Well, you do fish really well.
Yeah. Because the market yesterday had some nice flounder, so I thought, flounder. Flounder, and I've got to finish the rainbow mint flavoured ice cream cake.
I was going to ask how that's going because I saw in the kitchen seeing
Well, there's half of that.
a bright pink
Oh yeah, bright pink bowl of.
and I thought, wow, is that healthy? Is that good?
Well, they're kind of like, I don't know. They sort of seem to be.
Oh yeah, that colour.
Yeah, I don't know what's in them. Actually, there's a bit
You
of an
only use
investigation.
a few drops, so they're
Oh,
probably,
not
if it's
in this.
anything bad. Oh, really?
Nah. Well, because I essentially use vanilla ice cream, so it's white. So to get a deep colour,
Oh yeah.
you've really got to add. I mean, you saw me come in with the violet.
We're trying to do that violet, man.
Yeah.
That was
So I don't
amazing.
actually know what they're made of.
Don't look. It might scare
I don't
you.
particularly
You're
care.
feeding them to your only child.
Yeah, but it's not like he eats them every
No,
day.
But he's going
Oh,
to
here
have
we
it
go.
in mass quantity with this cake.
Glycerol, lecithin, and colour. That's informative.
It's not,
So yeah, look,
Well-
that's almost done. So it's birthday weekend, so cake and snacks,
yes.
and whatever
Treaties.
treats, and he wants soft boiled eggs with toast soldiers and a bacon on the side
Oh,
for breakfast.
what a gourmet baby.
Well, I was thinking about this actually. Like, it's sometimes, you do a cake or you do events or you're doing a dinner or even for Doug, right? Sometimes when people are specific, it actually makes it easier.
Oh yeah, it's so much easier.
Yeah.
Okay, great. I sort of know what I'm doing. I
Yeah.
don't have to think and stand there at the food aisle going, which one? What
Yeah,
do they
so
want?
when you've got your 5-year-old turning 6-year-old who knows exactly what they want for their birthday, breakfast, lunch, dinner, and their cake, like, I just let him go, okay, what do you want? Like last year, he wanted a Hulk smash birthday cake.
Yeah.
So we had a Hulk fist coming out of a chocolate birthday cake. Like, if you
Amazing.
know, it's easier.
Yeah. See, we had the beautiful little Flynn Eric around on Sunday. He's one, and he'd never blown out a candle before. It's quite funny when 4 adults.
Especially COVID times, you got some
We weren't
baby
allowed to.
like spitting over.
Oh yeah, but no, we just bought a
Dribbling
cake.
over the
We just
cake.
bought a cake. We thought,
Yeah.
See, my friends' kids aren't really. I don't have that. So no, we just got a cake and put the candle in, and all 4 of us were sort of, now this is how you blow to a 1-year-old. Yeah. So
Just that term, think about it for a second. I don't mean to bring the level down,
let's
but
just get it right back up there. But that's interesting about.
yeah.
Okay.
So
Well, I will try that with my spring lamb chops, and I've got some biscuits to bake on Monday.
Anzacs by any chance?
Oh, Anzacs. And I'm going to try the, make sure there's, I'll see what they're like. I've got to practice measuring them out and doing that volume and testing that as well, making sure I've got that under
Testing the
control.
maths.
I know, testing the maths. But you know what I did find interesting? You and I had a discussion, 2 weeks ago, about what is volume, because you bought all this ice cream for
Yeah.
the little one's cake.
Yeah.
And so Dougie, who's an ice cream fiend, he had bought some ice cream, and it was a 1 litre tub. And I said, aha, and I told him about our conversation. So I ferreted around, got out my little scales, put it on, 638 grams. And so Doug, being science Doug, was like, well, maybe it's the content and he's like, no, it should just be 1 litre.
So, my theory behind this now, and I've did something here about it. So the story is that I was buying 1 litre tubs of ice cream to make this rainbow ice cream behemoth.
6 1 litre tubs?
No, he's not getting a litre of each colour.
Okay.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
It's like,
So
there's 7 colours in the
there's
rainbow.
a whole lot of different ice creams in there. Oh, okay.
7 colours
okay.
in the rainbow, so he's getting about 400 grams.
We've had that discussion off air as well.
But anyway, I got the tub of ice cream and it said a litre. Now, I was then weighing out my 400 grams for each colour and noticed that there was not a lot left. And so here's what I think, because I've made ice cream a million times myself, but this is where I'm not sure, right? So a litre of unchurned creme anglaise,
Yeah.
okay, so it's like a litre of any liquid, weighs 1 kilo. And I think when you churn ice cream, you add air, right? Mm-hmm. And you remove, to a degree, some volume and replace it with air. So I think what ice cream manufacturers do is I think they take a receptacle, a tub, that holds 1 litre of liquid. And I think they then fill it with ice cream, even though it doesn't weigh, like churned ice cream, even though that doesn't weigh 1,000 grams.
Yeah.
That's what I think's going on. But there is one way to test it, and I've got it, actually, you just reminded me, because I've got an empty ice cream tub in the bin. So I'm going to clean it out, empty it out, put it on the scales, I'm going to fill it with water, and I would wonder if that doesn't hold a litre of liquid, then I reckon I'm getting ripped off.
It's interesting because we have had discussions before about shrinkflation, how prices stay the same, but everything's gotten smaller.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. It's right across the board. Toothpaste tubes, smaller. Everything's
Never
smaller.
thought about toothpaste tubes like
No,
that,
but
okay.
It's the same price, but smaller. So shrinkflation. And this could be it. This could be just keeping the price the same, but maybe a smaller... Maybe it's just a descriptive label. Maybe the 1 litre is descriptive. You know, it's not really a quantity. It's really just telling you it's
kind of like when they put the word light on food.
Yes,
LITE.
or diet, or
what does
something.
that actually mean?
Exactly. What does it actually mean?
Yeah. So I will test that out. I'm going to test out whether the container that claims it is a litre actually will hold a litre of liquid volume, and if it does, then I'll excuse it.
Okay.
But if it doesn't, how can you how can you advertise that it is a litre, even taking into account the aeration that you get when you churn ice cream, right?
Yeah.
So if you take that into account, if it can't hold a litre of creme anglaise, liquid ice cream, pre-churn, then how can it possibly hold something that gets more volume because of the air
when
in
it's
it?
freezing.
Yeah, when it's frozen.
Interesting.
I reckon I'm being stitched up because there's no way that tub looks like a litre.
Well, the little one that Dougie had letter on the bottom, and then it was 638 grams, and there wasn't a lot of room in the top.
Well, the tub that I had, like I said, I showed you, I took the scales into your office, lid on, full, unopened, including the carton, weighed 611 grams.
That's right.
So there's 400 grams somewhere. So even if I fill it with water and put the lid on and it weighs a litre, okay.
Yeah.
But if it doesn't, I'm interested to know how you can claim that it's a litre. Because I bet you if you got a litre of milk and you filled a milk jug, which holds 1 litre, with water, I bet you it holds a litre.
It'd hold a litre, absolutely.
So why
is ice cream different? Alrighty. That's something to solve for next week's Friday.
Well, that's exciting for everyone, I'm sure, isn't it?
No, but I think it's, when you think about these things, you know, you do feel a little bit like, hey, what's going on here? 1 litre of ice cream, you think, might go, you know, how many kids, people, you know, you're sharing, and all of a sudden you find, hey, we don't really have that much. It's because...
Yeah, but I mean, especially like we produce recipes, right?
Yeah.
And every recipe is weighed.
Oh,
and everything is in grams.
Everything. I've learnt that.
Yeah, so,
I've learnt that.
which is, I mean, and we've talked about it before, which is why we don't use cups.
Yes.
Like, still to this day, I see my partner and she will be measuring flour from the flour container into a Pyrex jug that says cup. Like, you couldn't do more wrong if you tried, right? Because that's actually meant for a liquid measurement.
Yeah.
It's got nothing to do with the cup. But the problem is with, as we know, cups are inaccurate.
Yep.
There can be various different weights depending on...
This size cup is very different to the cup I drink my tea out of.
Yeah, which is why you come across people that
Yeah.
have been cooking for a long time.
Yeah.
You know, if you think about sort of the Country Women's Association scone, bake-off, right? You can go with the most to the 0.1 of a gram accurate scone recipe, as an example. But they've been using the same cup with the same quantities over a period of decades, and their mixture always works out the same. But it's because they use the one.
But they also have an intuitive knack of knowing from years of doing it, this is a bit moist, and
the flour is different.
Something else,
Butter's different.
It's amazing. You know how much people who've been doing something for a very long time just know intuitively.
Yeah.
Whereas we look at it and go, and like I do with when I'm watching Cooking with Steam videos, and I've got my iPad, next to the recipe that I'm cooking.
Oh, so you're the 5% that use a tablet?
I'm the 5% that use it, but I don't know. I just love it. Have the iPad up and I watch what you do, and I've got all my bits out, and then I start, and I use it to break it down, and that's how I know when I'm trying something new, and I'm not going to stuff it up because I follow the recipe that I'm watching.
Yeah.
I find that so much easier.
Yeah, I know everyone goes about it their own way.
But that's me.
Yeah, but the point is comes back to what I've always said about recipes. They are.
No, you think they're just a guideline.
They are a guideline.
I think they're absolutely.
So that's your accountant's
that absolutely. I follow that. You say process. Step 1, step 2.
For baking and pastry cooking, absolutely.
Sometimes I leave out step 3 and I'll skip the eggs and my cake won't rise and I'll be, Paul, what's going on?
But for baking and pastry cooking, yes. Yeah. But for everything else, that sort of savoury cooking, it's a guideline.
It's easy for you to say that, buddy, because you do have a chef's uniform hanging over there.
Yeah.
And I don't.
Well, you've got your apron.
I've got my apron.
I love how, just so everyone knows, Linda was going to wear an apron. Because we're filming, this is our first film podcast,
and I'm like,
what are you wearing an apron for? You haven't cooked. What have you cooked?
I know.
Like you haven't you've never cooked in this kitchen.
I've got an accounting joke for you. I've cooked the books. I've never actually cooked in this kitchen. No.
Oh, that's bad.
I know. That's why I don't tell jokes for a living. But I haven't actually cooked in this kitchen.
I'm ready to walk away now.
You idiot. Well,
terrible.
It wasn't that bad.
Yeah,
but it was pretty obvious, really.
No, it was really
No, it was
bad.
pretty obvious.
Yeah.
Well, I've told worse. Yeah. I have told worse. But I haven't cooked in this kitchen, you're right. No. I just like coming in and watching what you're doing because it's making it nice.
Weird voyeur.
Stalker. Well,
right.
happy cooking.
Happy cooking.
Have a good weekend.
And you.
And I hope those answers work out well. Lamb cutlets
report.
Now. Oh my gosh. I'll try to take photos for you and show you.
You can wear your apron at home when you're actually cooking.
When I'm actually cooking. Well, thank you for that.
Don't try and pretend to the viewing public.
You idiot. No. But I have it. It's great. See ya. Take care. Bye. Thanks for listening to this podcast as we explore home cooking in a modern world. We'd love you to subscribe, and for more information, please go to our website, cookingwithsteam.com.